Hey guys, welcome back to DiamondTrail Ranch. If you live anywhere near the coast, you know hurricane season isn't just a date on the calendar. It's a reality, honestly, that you have to prepare for. On a homestead, these storms don't just threaten your home, they threaten your animals, your crops, your fences, and even your food and water supply. I mean, the whole shebang, right? Today, we're going to walk you guys through exactly how we prepare here at DiamondTrail Ranch so you can keep your homestead safe, running, ready to bounce back after these storms pass. So, first, you want to understand your risks, right? And how do we do that? Well, you want to know what you're up against. High winds, right? The three main dangers: flooding, and then power outages. On a homestead, those risks also mean loose fencing, injured animals, spoiled feed, gardens that could be washed away. If you've got livestock like chickens, ducks, goats, horses like we do, a storm can quickly turn into a life or death situation if you're not ready. So, even a weak or tropical storm can rip down your tarps, knock over your coops, contaminate your water sources. That's just why preparation is absolutely non-negotiable. It's not about if a storm will hit, but when. You also want to make sure your animals are secure, right? Animals come first. You hear too often about people leaving their dogs and stuff out in the hurricanes, and I'm like, what are you doing? Animals can't protect themselves. I wish we all knew that, but unfortunately, it takes a little education to the general public to know things like this. For smaller animals like chickens and ducks, you make sure their coops are reinforced. That means you want to check their hinges, their latches, and roofs, so nothing's blowing off. Even the weaker storms, tropical depressions, they get some gusty, tropical storm winds that'll you got to be careful with. So make sure everything is tight. It's goats. You want to make sure your shelters are anchored, bedding is dry and deep, so they're warm after the rain. Horses and donkeys need strong fencing, safe shelter as well. They may need to be tied or corralled in a smaller, secure area to avoid injury. Remember, guys, after the storm, downed fences mean animals can wander into danger, so repairs need to happen fast. Don't forget to have, at least I'd say 3 to 5 days worth of feed, especially with power loss. Just don't know. And clean water stored in waterproof containers. Hopefully you have a generator to keep your water on if you're on a well system or any system for that matter, but to at least at the bare minimum keep your water running. We grabbed a generator specifically for our water because of the animals. So anyway, you also want to protect your crops and garden. High winds and flooding can destroy months of garden work overnight. If you've got the time, harvest anything that's ripe, better in your pantry than on the ground. Stake your tall plants like tomatoes and sunflowers so they don't snap. Move your potted plants indoors or under a shelter if you can. Cover your delicate crops with breathable frost cloth or shade cloth, weighted down so it won't blow away. Make sure compost piles are covered. Your flood water can actually leach the nutrients and spread unwanted bacteria right into your gardens. It would not be good for anybody. Depending on your compost setup, that could be really big too. We have generally over on our horse pasture, you can scoop up just about any of it from anywhere. It's all pretty composted in general, but we have a compost specific pile in front of the garden area on the front of the property over there. You want to make sure you walk your property to protect it before the storm, and look for anything that could turn into a projectile. Loose boards, like to see how I have stuff out right now, a hurricane prep. We got some things on the radar. There's actually a couple right now they're keeping an eye on. I believe Aaron's one of them. So, we're going to pick these things up. Anything loose in the yard. If you have a pool, pick up, you know, everything, your floaties and all that kind of stuff. Everything in general, you want to pick it up, secure it, so there's nothing flying around on the wind, smashing out your windows and hurting your animals. Loose boards, like I said, buckets, tools, literally like anything that's out and about. Lawn furniture. You want to secure and store them inside. Like we'll put ours in this red barn right here. Check your gutters and drainage ditches beforehand to make sure water flows away from your home and your barns. Trim back any branches that hang over animal shelters or your house. We did that. This one's not over the house. We actually had we do that probably once every year to every 2 years, because we just have a crazy amount of trees here. You guys can see it. I mean, the trees are nuts. So if you have a generator, test them now. Stock up on fuel or propane or both, depending on what you got. Remember, in hurricane season, power can be out for days. So think about how you'll keep your food cold, pump your water, and run your fans or your heaters for your animals if needed. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the heat when the power goes out in the Southeast America. It's brutal. Once it's safe, after the storm, the first thing you want to do is check your animals for injuries. And you also want to check your fences for damage. Floodwater can bring toxins, bacteria, and debris, so never let animals drink standing water. Check your feed for mold and contamination. Walk your property carefully. It wasn't last year, it was the year before. We actually had some of these giant trees. We had one of them completely knocked down. It fell over there towards the trail, knocked over the fence. So we had to have that removed and temporarily secured. It was a mess because the horses are on that side, but they didn't get out, so it's good. And we took care of it. You just want to make sure you're absolutely walking your fence lines. You know, you also want to check for down power lines, because they can hide in grass or water. That's something serious. I mean, gardens, remove any broken branches, restake any leaning plants that you have, and add mulch to protect your exposed roots. And remember, if your property survived, thank God, first of all, but can't count your blessings. The next storm could be right behind it. We had ours back to back. I mean, we had historic storms here. Hurricane season lasts several months, so don't let your guard down. Hurricane season can be stressful, but a prepared homestead can weather the storm, literally. No pun intended there. Securing your animals, protecting your crops, and safeguarding your property, you're not just surviving, you're actually setting yourself up to recover faster and with less loss. Guys, if you found these tips helpful or a reminder, because a reality check, also top off your gas cans, guys. Non-ethanol preferably for your gas-powered items, things like that. If you found this helpful, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, subscribe to DiamondTrail Ranch for more homesteading and preparedness videos. Share this with someone who needs to storm-proof their homestead or needs a reality check or a wake-up call. I hope you guys stay safe, prepared, and I'll see you in the next video.